So this one is a question on bearings. So there's a question here. The town Q is 250 kilometers on a bearing of 040 degrees from town P. From town P. So town R is 200 kilometers from town Q and the due east of P. And the due east of P. Then a fourth town S is on a bearing of 220 degrees from R and the due south of P. Due south of town P. So let's go to the sketch of this question. The sketch. So the first thing it is to make a compass. The compass here. I want to make a sketch. We have a sketch there. And this is the true north. So the town P is the one that is at the starting point or at the middle of the compass. Because all point it is town Q is 250 kilometers on a bearing of 040 degrees from town P. So it is town P is the one that is here. So this is east, towards east, this west, and this is south. So that's the compass. So therefore 040 degrees. When we are measuring angles, we always measure from the true north. So your compass, your protractor should look like that. So we measure 0 is there. We measure 040 degrees. 040 degrees. That is 040 degrees. So we say this one up to this point here is 250 kilometers. This is point Q. 250 kilometers. That is 250 kilometers. So our angle here, you measure 0 to 40. Then 040 degrees. So that we have point P, and now we have point Q. At a distance of 250 kilometers. So up to this point. Next. Town R is 200 kilometers from town Q. Town R is 200 kilometers from town Q at the due east of P. Due east of P, there's keyword here. Due east of town P, directly east of P. Directly east. So town R is along that. Is along that. So therefore, we can make a sketch of, we say, let our 200 kilometers be here. So that we can get town R. Because town R is around here. So there's a sketch. So it can be somewhere here along, but it is along this one. It can be here, but it is not directly south of Q. So the examiner is not telling us that it is directly south of Q. So therefore, it cannot be here. You can't say it is here. So because it is due east of P, then it is somewhere here along that line. So we just join point Q, R. And this at point Q, we are supposed to have a sketch. Sorry, not a sketch, but a compass. We are supposed to have a compass at Q. At Q. And how to make a very complete compass? At point Q, here, point Q, you are supposed to take this angle 40 degrees because this line joining P and Q is always a transverse, or it is a transversal of the compasses of P at P and compasses at Q. This line is parallel to this one. So the compass at P and at Q, the two lines are always parallel. So the line joining them, PQ, is a transverse. And we say this angle 040 degrees, and this angle is also 040 degrees. These are alternate angles. This angle is alternate to this. So therefore, here you're supposed to measure 40 degrees. So this angle, ukiweka compass yako protractor, you'll measure this from this side toward this side, you'll measure 40 degrees. So that here we have exactly 40 degrees. So that our compass will be exactly 40 degrees there. Will be exactly 40 degrees. This 40 degrees. So that tutachola ikiwa very accurate. Is that okay? So compass here to protractor itakaa hivi. Our protractor look like that. So you need 40 degrees. just 40 degrees here. Yeah, that compass will be straight. And then this is 250 kilometers. Remember, this is 250 kilometers. Now you join the sketch. And then this 200 kilometers. Then you go to the next one. A for the town S. Town S is on a bearing of 220 degrees from R. The keyword there is from R. That's how 220 degrees from R. And so from R, you make a compass. How do you make that compass? So we make a compass at point, this 200. So compass, we'll have a compass at R. Because at R, let's see. Once you have measured, you are supposed to get, when you want to get a very good compass, you're supposed to measure this angle joining. You can measure this. You can take this angle. You can measure this angle joining from P, true north of P to R for you to get a good compass. And then when you come to R, compass at R, from this line, if this angle, assuming it was 120, this angle, then at this point, you measure what? From this line. In fact, it is from the line. It is from this line towards this point. You measure an angle that is equal to this. So that because that this line and this line, they are what? They are parallel. This line, this compass here at Q and compass at R, they are parallel. So therefore, this line joining QR is a transversal. So this angle is equal to this angle. So that compass will be straight. If this angle, assuming it is like 120, even this angle will be 120. So, but because you're making a sketch, let's make compass at R at that point. So then 220 degrees from R. From R, in our protractor, you cannot measure an angle of 220 degrees. The maximum angle that you can measure is 180. So what do? You take 220 degrees minus 180, that becomes 100 degrees. So you have already gone for a complete, you have already gone for 180 degrees there. So you already have 180 degrees. So the other 40 degrees remaining, you'll measure on the other side now of this compass. Once you put your protractor like this, leading from 0 there, 0 is here, towards this direction, 40 degrees utasoma hapa. 40 zitakuwa wapi? 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Let's say our 40 is there. Our 40 is there. Let's say that our 40 is there. This is 40 degrees. That's the angle that you have measured. This angle here is 40 degrees. Then how many kilometers? We are not given the kilometers, but you are told further statement at the due south of town P. This keyword due south. Due south means directly south. Directly south, it is south of P. So you extend this line until it cuts that point. At that point, that's directly south at this point. So our town S is there. So it is cutting there. You can see it is cutting there. The line. Here P, directly south. So our R is there. So that's the sketch. And therefore, now in our questions, you'll be able to answer the questions on measuring the distances from Q to R, R to S, P to R. So I hope you are together on that one.
Yes.
Now, so in our question here, we have drawn the accurate diagram using the sketch that we had. Our scale was 1 centimeter representing 50 kilometers. And the distance PQ was given as 250. So for us to get the distance between P and Q accurately, is you take 250 divided by 50. You get that is 5 centimeters. That's 5 centimeters. Then the distance between Q and R was 200 kilometers. It is 200 divided by 50. You get it is 4 centimeters. So you measure 4 centimeters from point P. And then this angle we measured as 40 degrees. This angle is 40 degrees. And then we said that this angle, the line joining the two compasses, P and Q, this line is a transversal. So therefore, this angle is 40 and this angle is 40. So you measure this one to get that compass. Then for you to draw a compass here, because this one you have already drawn, you have already made you are measured 4 centimeters. We are told point Q, point R or town R is 4 centimeters, accurately 4 centimeters from Q, and it is due east. The word due east means directly east. So you draw this line due east along that one, then 4 centimeters. You measure 4 centimeters here using your compass here, and then you cut that point there. So you locate your point R. You have located your point R. Then from there, you already have this point R. For us to draw an accurate compass at R, we need to know the angle between this compass at Q and the line joining QR, this one, where the angle is 12 centimeters. So this angle is 12 centimeters. So if this angle is 12 centimeters, then from this line joining QR, you measure 12 degrees up to that. So put your protractor like this and measure 12 degrees from this point so that you have 12 degrees. Once you make 12 degrees there, you have measured this 12 degrees here. You join that line, and this line will be a straight line. Then you have made your compass. Very accurate compass. Then from there, we need to get the bearing of town S, which is 220 degrees. 220 degrees from town R. That's the first step, 220. And because you cannot measure 220, you take 220 minus 180, you get 40. You already have 180 degrees. Then on this side, you put your protractor like this, leading from 0 here, and measure 40 degrees. And this is 40 degrees. That 40 degrees. So then once you mark this one, you join with this, you extend this line. And then you are told town S is due south of P. So you draw this line to cut S, to cut our S there. So that is how to make an accurate drawing. Now, in our question, number 1, you are told, using the scale drawing, measure one distance, PR. PR, measure distance, PS, measure distance, RS, and then the bearing of Q. The bearing of Q from R. Bearing of Q from R.
Yes.
Now, so in our question here, we are told find using the scale drawing, measure the distance PR. The distance PR in our case is 4.2. 4.2, you right? 4.2, then you multiply by the scale of times 50. You get 4.2 times 50 is to 10 kilometers. That's the distance PR. Distance PS. PS. Measure PS. Once you measure PS, you get that your PS is 4.8. You take 4.8 times 50 equals to 240 kilometers. Equals to 240 kilometers. Then distance RS. Our distance RS is 6.4. Distance is 6.4 times 50. You get the distance is 320 kilometers in this case. And the answer can be plus or minus these distances.